Hello everybody and welcome to Weeaboo Wednesday. Weeaboo Wednesday is of course the most premier and premium source of anime and weeaboo and video game and just general Japanese sort of news. Of course, filtered through just some average Joe like myself. So with that said, let's talk about some super awesome news. Toho Animations has recently announced and premiered a trailer for a new animation that is going to primarily use mocap. Sounds great, right? Well, it's going to just get even more and more appealing as you find out more. It's called Business Fish. As you can see from this, it is based off of the stickers that are popular on both Line and Facebook Messenger. They are of strange Japanese-styled businessmen that are also semi-anthropomorphic in the fact that their heads resemble different types of fish. Yeah, sounds awesome, right? Well, they're going to make an animation of it, sort of a show, and it's going to premiere on Japanese television and also Hulu July 7th. Without even knowing what these were, I know that I and my friends have actually sent these stickers to one another, so now we're going to have context. Even better. Oof, Maricar. Poor Maricar. If you're not familiar, Maricar was a popular tourist attraction in Japan. They ran it through very popular touristy areas of Tokyo, such as Akihabara, Shibuya, and even Harajuku. What it was a car service where you got into little go-karts and dressed up as characters from Mario and drove around the city. All you needed was an international driver's license and they would throw you in a car with a costume on and you got to do really cringy stuff around the city. I remember seeing them in Japan when I was there. I saw a go-kart come by with like a Mario in it and I was just like, oh, there go those guys. And yeah, it's really not that bad, but you know, it is what it is. Well, of course, Nintendo wants to protect their IPs, and apparently there was a deal worked out where Maricar was saying that Nintendo was allowing them to do what they were doing, but eventually Nintendo said, hey, we're not going to let you do this, and they actually submitted an objection to the patent office. This was, of course, because they were registering the name Maricar, which they thought was different enough from Mario Kart for them to not get in trouble. But unfortunately, Nintendo got mad when they saw they were using screenshots and videos from their games to advertise the service. Well, there was a judgment reached not terribly long ago, in 2017, where Maricar was ordered to pay 10 million yen to Nintendo. For perspective, that's about $89,000. That's a lot of money. But because they decided they wanted to fight this and take it to court further to try to argue it out and try to really turn the tide so that they can continue this profitable business venture, well, they got hit with even more, and now they owe 50 million yen to Nintendo. For perspective, 50 million yen is now $400,000 US. So they went from owing just under 100,000 to now more than 400,000. That is painful. Needless to say, Nintendo has every right to protect their IP. They tried to argue that the costumes were done by a third-party company, so that wasn't really their responsibility. But still, I think Nintendo had all the right to do what they're doing. You may think it makes them a stick in the mud, but ultimately, you can't allow people to do this kind of stuff. It's a shame because this somewhat smaller company is going to get completely ravaged by the behemoth that is Nintendo. It just goes to show you, though, sometimes you should take your bow when you can, because now they're more than triple in debt from what they originally would have been if they just paid out the 10 million yen before. They've also been ordered to deregister the Maricar name. I really feel for them, but I'm sure they made a lot of money doing what they were doing. Hopefully they have enough money to cover all this and then some, but just goes to show you, don't mess with big companies like that. Finally, it is here. Evangelion Gekijoban. The fourth and final movie in the Evangelion Rebuild series is coming in 2020. We knew it was coming, and 2020 was always a safe bet, but now we can really put our money on it because they're actually going to be airing the first 10 minutes and 10 seconds of the movie at Anime Expo and Japan Expo. This is part of Operation 0706, which of course is just short for July 6th. They also recently put out an app on June 1st, which basically acts as a compendium for the movies. It gives a bit of information for the first three, and of course talks a bit about the new movie. It's basically just a promotional app, just a piece of marketing, but it's something. They're also going to air this footage supposedly online. We don't know the full extent of how it's going to be given to us, but beyond, I'm sure, the premiere that's going to happen at Anime Expo and Japan Expo, they're going to give it to us probably a little bit later down the line. So get excited because, hey, it's finally going to come to an end. Maybe that will allow Aaah to work on Shin Godzilla 2. A man can dream. Hakuoki is coming to the Nintendo Switch. If you're not familiar, Hakuoki is a series of otome games, which are based around the Shinsengumi, which is a group of samurai from the 19th century from Kyoto. Their legend is very well documented. There's a lot of stories about these guys, and of course Hakuoki has made it into an anime, and of course otome games where you get to sort of romantically deal with these gentlemen, and of course it's all hyped up with a little bit of extra finesse in there. The fun fact is I'm actually doing a voice for Kazama for a fan dub of the previous game Kyoto Wins. But yeah, Hakuoki's great. I really like it a lot. It was really interesting. The art's beautiful, and it really does get people into the idea of the Shinsengumi. In the anime, they're depicted as some of the very last warriors who truly fought as samurai, as modernization turned war into something more based around using guns rather than swords. So it's pretty badass to see. Hakuoki Shinkai, Tsukikage no Sho, and Ginsei no Sho are both two Hakuoki games slated to come out later on, and both of them are going to eventually make it to the Switch. This, of course, is so far only Japan. Tsukikage no Sho is currently dated for September 26th, so there's pretty much done. Hopefully, we will get those localized here in America. They've been pretty good about doing the previous one, so really fingers crossed that we get those maybe within the next year or so. Sarazanmai is a hilarious new anime that's currently airing, which is basically based around human desire and kappa. You know, kappa, like the yokai kappa. Something like that. Though they're much cuter in the show. Either way, there's a pair of incredibly sexy policemen that act as antagonists in the show, and both of them are going to be getting their own perfume. Noitamina Apparel is currently running a poll online for people to vote on both of the scents for each officer. From the smell of oranges and cigarettes to the smell of a freshly washed shirt, there are 3 scents for each officer. So of the 6, 2 will be chosen, of course 1 per each character, and the poll is running from June 22nd to June 30th, so there's not very much time left for you to vote. I do kind of like the idea of a perfume that smells like oranges and cigarettes. I don't know if I'd buy that, but it's an interesting concept. Finally, the SOS Brigade has reunited. The 20th anniversary Lantis Matsuri 2019 Arigato Anisong was an event that was recently held in which the original 5 cast members that did the voices for the main characters from the SOS Brigade of Haruhi Suzumiya got together and danced the Hare Hare Yukai. This, of course, included Aaah Hirano, who we previously mentioned was doing tours again. So it's great to see that she teamed back up with those original cast members to dance the Hare Hare Yukai all over again, because it had been 12 years since they had done it together before. Of course, 12 years ago was when they held the 2007 Extravaganza Haruhi live concert event. It's really cool to see this because, man, I remember back when Haruhi first came out and the Hare Hare Yukai was everywhere. It takes me back to a time when all I cared about in the summer was sitting around and watching anime and trying to go to conventions. And it's nice. It really hits me right here in the kokoro. It makes it go doki doki. And that's pretty much it. I didn't really have that much to bring out this week because a lot of stuff that's going on is really negative, and I don't want to bring that into this space. I want this to be fun and happy for all of us. So, hey, thank you so much for watching. If you did like the video, please make sure to leave it a like, and if you want to talk about any of these stories, go ahead and drop a comment and tell me what was most interesting to you. If you want to watch any other Weeaboo Wednesdays, they're going to be linked right up here in a window. I've got a figure review coming out tomorrow and on Friday, so you're getting a double feature, baby. 2 figures for the price of 1. I won't say too much now, but you're going to want to stick around for this. I would totally end this by doing the Hare Hare Yukai, but I don't remember a lot of it, so maybe next time. Thanks again for watching. Love you guys. Bye!